up, producers? Trying to get my trusty pen here today. Gonna do a little quick whiteboard for you. My name is Matt from Music Producer School. Hope y'all are doing well. It's Saturday where I am. I know we got some people watching from across the world, and it's always crazy to think about you're halfway across the world and I'm over here, but hey, that's technology for you. It's a beautiful thing. Hope y'all are doing well today. Don't forget, today is Saturday. I'm going to be going to the Music Producer School community today, right after class. I'm going to be listening to your tracks. I have people sending me music just about every day, and they want me to listen to their music. I set up the Music Producer community just for that. So be sure to go click join, and I'll approve you as soon as I get off of the stream today for class. And that way you can come join live. I'll be live streaming just from the Music Producer School community. It's a private community, and I'm going to be listening to the submitted tracks. We'll listen together, give feedback. I'll give you some tips on your mixing, your sample selection, your songwriting, all of it. So it's been a lot of fun to listen to you guys and girls, your stuff. And also be sure hit share on this stream so that we can keep building up our community of members. And don't forget, follow us on all the important social links like Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started today. Today we're going to be doing effects part 3 today. So I wanted to quickly, my man Shresh had a question for me, and let me, I was doing a little recording last night over here in the studio. Let me go ahead and turn off my my microphone here so that we're not getting any crazy stuff going on. There we go. Okay, so my man Shresh asked a question earlier in the week about stereo stuff, because we were talking about, what's the difference between stereo and mono when we were talking about vocals. And basically what he was saying is he has a switch on his microphone where I think he said he has 3 modes. I'm guessing that one of those modes is maybe mid-side, which that's another discussion for another day. But it's important to understand that we have typically 2 main modes when we're recording. One is mono, and 2, which is 2 channels, which is stereo. So I wanted to quickly kind of give y'all a quick whiteboard on this, because it can be a little confusing, and especially I was trying to type out an answer for Shresh, and it can be a little confusing just to try and type about it. So let me throw up. We'll come back to Ableton in just a second. Let's go here to the whiteboard. So I wanted to go over this pretty quickly, because it is a fundamental thing that's going to help you in all of your recording stuff, right? So we have mono, and we have stereo. Okay, mono. Well, that wasn't any good. Mono, stereo. Mono is 1 channel. Or let me just say, yeah, well, one channel, I guess is probably cool. 1 channel. And then stereo is 2 channels, right? So when you have something in mono, let me get me out the way here. When you have something in mono, when you have your panning, right? Your pan control, and you have all the way to the left, center, and all the way to the right. Basically, if you know what a waveform is, your waveform is just going to be straight in the center. Now, what mono, and this is where it gets a little confusing for people. What mono actually is, if you have a left ear and a right ear, you can't really just hear just one thing, right? Your ears have to hear at the same time. But because your ears are not in the same place, they're going to hear things at a little bit of a different time. So what mono actually is, it's the same exact signal on left and right, but it's the same exact signal. So it sounds like it's coming through the center, because if you've ever like recorded your voice and maybe duplicated it to another track, and you pan one track to the left, one track all the way to the right, it'll sound, and Shresh, if you're watching, this is a good experiment. It'll kind of make it clear for you. Record your vocal in mono and then duplicate it to another track. Pan the first track all the way to the left and the second track all the way to the right. It's going to sound like your voice is coming up straight to center, because you have exact copies on each side, equal volumes, everything's the same. Now, stereo is actually when you have your center, your left, and your right pan. Stereo is actually, let's see if we can get this out of the way. Stereo is actually two separate signals. So to show you the two separate signals, I'm going to let me move this out of the way a little bit here. Let's move this up just a tad. So I'm going to show you stereo by doing two separate signals like this. So we've got our center, and then we've got left and right. So a stereo signal would be, let's say we've got a sine wave here like this, and then our right channel would be something like a sawtooth. So that's just to show you that you have to have literally two separate signals. These have to be two separate signals in order for your ears to discern it as, oh, this is left, this is right. Now, the other thing you can do, and Shresh, this is going to put a cap on your question here. Microphones that have a switch for stereo, it means that there's actually two separate microphones inside of your single big microphone, right? So what they typically do is they'll cross the capsules. Let me see if I could show you. It's called XY. And basically what you have inside of your microphone is something that's going to kind of look, this is probably a good example of it right here. Something that's going to kind of look like this right next to me here, where your microphones are actually crossed. So the left one is going to be pointing out this way. The right one is going to be pointing out this way. So I actually just used this same technique yesterday when I was recording. If you're trying to record a big, say, group of like a bunch of vocalists or like a choir, or if you want to get your drums to get the sound of them in the room, you want to get that nice sound of the space of the room, the left and the right. So you would use two separate microphones, one pointing out the other way, one pointing out this way. And that way, when you record these two separate signals right here, they're actually going to be separate signals. Now, you might be recording the same source, but because you have them kind of spread out, the source, meaning you have your vocalists spread out, or maybe, like I said, if you're in a room with drums, the drums are going to be hitting the left wall, they're going to be hitting the right wall. So your stereo microphones are going to be pointing at opposite walls. And that way, when your left ear hears one recording of one mic that's a little different, and hears another mic that's a little different, that's how you get that nice wide sound. So I'll cover this again in detail, and maybe even I'll do a recording with you guys to show y'all how this works in the real world. But like I said, if you want to really see how it works and you're not familiar with this, and this is great stuff to use for vocals and whatnot, record your vocal, just one single vocal in mono on a mono single mic. So mono, just remember, is one. Stereo is two. So a mono mic, meaning you're just using one capsule, one microphone, put it on one channel and record it. Now duplicate that track and then just pan the tracks left and right. It's going to sound like it's coming from the center. Now with that, now record another single vocal, but then arm to record on a second track where you're actually going to record a second take, and then record the second take of the vocal and try and copy the first one as best you can, but then pan those left and right. And you're going to hear how just those little differences make it sound nice and super wide. So that's a little experiment for you guys, a little bit of homework to do for you. So let's go ahead and get into our final discussion today now. I wanted to finish up our discussion on effects. So effects, we went over like the reverb stuff, the chorus, the modulations. We did some delay stuff. So today what I wanted to finish up on effects is actual more like sound effects, okay? So if I have, let's say, a drop, okay, and let me just put a quick little drum kit in here. So I always talk about this macro micro idea. In order to make things sound bigger sometimes, you need to build anticipation, and you need to kind of cue your listener that something is about to happen, right? So if we have, let's say here, some type of drop, which let me find us a quick little kick drum or something here to put in here. Of course, I picked a drum kit that's all percussion. Let's see if I can find us a good quick one to throw on here. I'm trying to find something cool that'll not just be a boring. Okay, let's I like the loud pack kits are pretty cool. So if we have some type of a drop, now this is going to be more for the EDM producers, but also you can use this in any other style of music. So if we have a kick, okay, something like that. And let's do maybe something like this. And let's get our Alright, that's crazy loud. Okay, so let me bring this down just a little bit. Alright, that's a little better. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'll tell you what, actually, I have a thing I'm going to put out, which I believe is on the website actually right now, called Beat Grids. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of these beat grids. And let's find us a cool one. And I'm going to just throw that on there. And these, basically, beat grids are these drum patterns that I've put together. That basically are from hit songs that already work. Alright, and then let's do a little hat loop just to get something going here quickly. Okay, so if I have something like that and I'm trying to drop into it as my main kind of, drop or hook or whatever it is. This could be for a rap song, it could be for EDM, for anything really. If you just do one of these numbers, where let's just do a 4-bar here so we can do this quickly. I'll just go ahead and program it. So if we take our snare and we're going to do a 4-bar lead in. So I'm just making a little build up here, and I'll show you quickly how I do this in Ableton. Gonna separate this clip. Okay, so that's our build up. Get rid of the kick. So this is gonna be just a snare build up, right? So we've got just a typical. And then with Ableton is cool because I can grab these and I can just make them quicker or longer just with the click of a button over here. So that's nice. So now we've got this. And then we'll do something like this. Let me show you guys here what I'm doing. Okay, so we have this little build up, right? That's going to go into our thing here. So at the end, right? Okay, so again, I'm not going to go into too much of the details of the programming here because that's not really the most important part, but I will do just a little bit more here. So y'all can see I'm taking my velocities. Let's get rid of that guy. So the thing I wanted to talk about with effects today was it's not just about reverb, which reverb is cool to put on this. So this is kind of how I would treat something like this. I would put a reverb on the kit. And then with my automation, I would write in with this dry wet. I would go all the way up here and get it to kind of come in. And then with the decay time, I'm also going to bring that up. But then I want it to come down quickly here. And then something like that. So I'd probably cut it here. Okay, so the thing I wanted to show y'all with effects today, that's using reverb, right? And everybody knows that trick, right? You just kind of build up with a reverb, increase your decay, increase your dry wet signal, no problem, right? I think most of y'all probably know that. But what I wanted to show you now was using some other stuff like white noise, which is a huge one. So watch how stuff like this can add to your production, okay? So we got our build. I won't play the whole thing for you this time. So we've got that little ramp up into it, right? And then we can also do, we can do longer ones. So something like this. And what I wanted to show y'all also is you can take these, and if you're working in something like Ableton, like say we only want that much to come into our drop right here. Well, I can in Ableton go grab my little handle here, and I can just size it appropriately. And then I can also go in with my volume even, and I can start adjusting stuff like that with the volume. So now we've gone from this very basic, you know, kind of boring snare thing into something that's getting a little more interesting. And then we would have whatever our, you know, our drop synth kind of part would be or whatnot, right? We've got some crazy effects in here. So I wanted to show you all that because, again, it's one of those things that a lot of people, especially younger and more inexperienced producers, I think they don't really think about, which is these little effects that can add just that extra little sparkle to your productions. So I wanted to show you all that to start getting you thinking about it, because I produced for a long time and I came from more of a quote-unquote real instrument background, like playing rock music and stuff like that, and the use of effects like this never really occurred to me until I started doing a lot of rap production and hip-hop stuff. And that's when I realized, like, oh, that's how they're spicing up this stuff with these effects. So you've got, this would be considered an uplifter. You've also got your downlifters. So like I could put the down lifter right after this. Check this out. So I've got that nice little down kind of relief effect when they're building up, building up, building up. So another thing I would probably do on this is I would do this build up to this point, because this is where I'm cutting my reverb out. So it's like a 3-bar build, and then it's gonna cut. And this is kind of that bar before where the, you know, vocalist would say something like, let me see if I have some type of
Go everybody. Huh. Yeah.
So something like this, like, so if it was kind of like a rap song. So this is how this would work. So I think y'all probably get the idea on that. So again, you know, what you got to understand is it's very intimidating when you're starting fresh and you're trying to just get things going. But I wanted to show you how quickly you can take a super boring ass snare roll, which I haven't really done anything to yet. But you can start there, and then by using some of these extra little special effects, you can start adding interest. And the cool thing about it is, of course, the listener is going to think it's cool, but as you start adding these little tidbits and effects, you're going to start getting inspired to do different stuff. So like I just, you know, randomly started programming this a minute ago, and already just from adding like these little effects, I'm starting to think, oh, okay, it's starting to sound like a section of a song, and I could probably just, you know, turn this into something at this point, which I'm not going to do today, but I just wanted to show you all that by, you know, adding some of these little things, you can really get your song moving quickly if you're especially if you're stuck. You know, throw a little effects on there, throw some chants, some downlifters, some uplifters. Now, in the synthesizer section, or the synthesis section that I did last week, I actually showed y'all how to create your own white noise and stuff like that. So you can actually build up your own stuff like this with your own synthesizers. So if you don't have, let me show y'all that really quickly. If you don't have your own library of effects like this that you can just drop in, let me show you how you could also achieve it. So I'm going to get rid of those pre-made effects. I'm going to keep this as my vocals right here. So I'm going to go back to, I like to use Sylenth because it's pretty basic. So again, I'm going to go to my initial preset, right? We're going to turn, and if you don't understand anything I'm doing in this part, go back last week. I did a whole section on synthesis, and I'll show you how I did this in a little more detail. But basically, every synthesizer has different oscillators. I'm going to put this on my noise generator. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. And let me see if I can. So now I've got a few different voices. So what I could do here is actually make a MIDI clip, and then I'm just going to put in my MIDI note right here. So already just like that, if I use my fade for my volume here, I can just create a volume fade like that. Right, so that was just using volume and a quick little white noise generator. And that's all that is. Now let me show y'all again. It seems pretty basic, but let me show you how quickly you could spice this up. I'm going to take a compressor, and this is a technique that I haven't gotten to yet, but I'll just show y'all quickly just to give you an idea of how it works. I'm going to take this compressor and I'm going to turn the ratio up pretty high, do say 10 to 1. I'm going to bring a quick attack, meaning the compressor is going to clamp down quickly. And then with this little triangle, I'm going to turn on my side chain. And what that means is normally the compressor, I have it on this channel, right? So normally the compressor is looking at the audio on this channel to determine, okay, when do I start compressing? But what a side chain is it says, don't look at the audio on the channel that the compressor's on. Look at a different channel that you can tell it to look at. So I'm going to tell it to look at my loud pack kick here, or my loud pack kit. And what's going to happen is as that snare hits, it's going to start pushing the compressor down, and it's going to make this thing start pumping a little bit. So check it out. And with this switch here with the headphones, I can listen and make sure that I'm getting my snare. So that's what it's listening to, the compressor. So I'm going to bring it down here. Now, when I turn this off, we're going to hear this audio, but the compressor is actually reacting to this up here. So watch how this sounds like. So you hear how I have that pumping now? So let's play it together. So one quick other little thing I can do with this is I could take my threshold and I can also automate that to where the threshold becomes basically nothing. So as the threshold gets higher, the compression is going to happen less. So watch what this sounds like now. So I'm going to have that when the snare is hitting, it's going to be reacting a lot. But then as the white noise sweeps in, it's going to turn just more to how it was originally. Watch. So again, I just wanted to show y'all some of these ideas with effects that if you don't have stock stuff, you can make your own stuff pretty easily. There's just a ton of stuff that you can do. Let me show y'all one more real quick. I'll get rid of this compressor. Let me make, let me actually see if I have like a quick little, just like a beep type of a thing. Looking for like just like a pulse type of a deal. Oh, okay. They have some sound effects in here already. So check this out. I'll show you. I'll break it down for you. Not exactly what I want. Might have to just make it myself. So something like this, for example. I'll show you a couple ways to do this. So if I have just this arpeggiator right here, right? So I can take the time of this arpeggiator and I could automate the time of it. Let's make it go quicker. We can also take the LFO here and automate that to make it go up. I can take the gate here, which is going to make the notes shorter as it goes. So I just wanted to basically show y'all that you have a lot of different options where you can even just take preset stuff. That's not the greatest example of one, but you can just take presets, and by using some of that stuff I showed y'all in the synthesis lessons, you can start automating the rates of these LFOs. You can start automating your arpeggiators. So I just wanted y'all to start thinking about effects in, you know, not just the drag and drop way like I showed you in the beginning, but you can actually make your own stuff. And, you know, think about if you have a cool keyboard sound that you're going to use in your drop, like a cool synth sound. Well, wouldn't it be awesome? And that's something I used to wonder when I was starting out producing. I was like, man, how do these producers find all these sounds that they just sound like they go together? And it actually, what I figured out was when you actually know how to do your own synthesis, you can take that keyboard or that synthesizer sound that you're using in the drop, and you can actually reprogram it and turn it into a build where the user's gonna, or the listener's gonna kind of get a sense of something's happening with this sound and something's coming up, but you don't give them the direct sound until they hit the drop. So this build up stuff is kind of with another synth that you've kind of made a variation on your main synth with. So again, I wanted to just kind of go over this was more like special effects type stuff. But again, I wanted to get y'all thinking about, using these types of things in your productions. And these are also the types of things where if an artist comes to work with you or on your own productions, these are the little bits of effects and stuff like this that can kind of build anticipation. They can be cool little extras that people are not expecting. And it's the type of stuff that people are going to want to keep coming back and listening, because you put these little nuggets in there for them to find every time they listen to the song. They're like, oh, I never heard that in there last time. And it's just these cool little things that you, I think, what do they call them? Easter eggs, like cool little fun things to find in your songs. So that's going to wrap up our discussion on effects. I got way more to go over on effects in the future. But again, I just wanted to kind of start from the beginning, give everybody that's joining us a brief overview of all of this stuff. And I think that's going to wrap it up for that. So I want to once again invite you, if you're just now watching or you haven't joined the Music Producer School community, the link is in the Facebook comments. I'm about to end this live stream and I'm going to go start a new stream in Music Producer School community. It's a private community, so you have to join if you want to watch. And that's where I'm going to be going to listen to your songs, your productions, and I'm going to be giving feedback on your stuff. So I'm about to head over there right now. I'll be starting up a new stream in about probably 3 to 5 minutes. So come join me over on Music Producer School. Post your music. Give me a YouTube link, SoundCloud. I see some people using Audio Mac, Spotify. I can listen to pretty much whatever if it's online, and I will give you live feedback while I'm listening to your song. So come join me over there. I'll see you guys in a minute. Thank you for joining, and y'all have a great day. Peace out.